So here's a building with a lot of art on it. You recognize at the top probably Obey, Shepard Fairey, who became famous for doing the Obama Hope poster. And then down below here is some other recognizable stuff. This is a Hello Kitty with a poo on its head. Reef Haring, take on Keith Haring, the famous artist who everybody knows. And then here's some graffiti. It looks like actually a bit of a gang war. The white has been tagged over by the red and X'd out. One thing that all this art has in common, it's all illegal. Walking down Fairfax Boulevard in Los Angeles, and we're about to walk into Cantor's Deli, where Robbie Conal, who's one of the fathers of guerrilla street art, is about to brief his troops for what he calls an art attack. Everybody's going to be putting up posters of Nelson Mandela. It's one day after he died. So now we're inside Cantor's, where Robbie's going to brief the crowd. All of these people are going to go out and put up his work all over LA. Give me a hug, man.
Yeah.
What should we expect? You've been doing this. How long have you been doing this?
Since '86.
Since 1986.
And I was old then.
What was your first poster?
Men with No Lips.
Men with No Lips. Who was that?
It was Ronald Reagan,
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan, Caspar Weinberger, and James Baker III.
And so, like, when you look around today and you see, you know, I don't know, I mean, because it's such an easy example, like Banksy, and they're selling those things for...
I love Banksy.
Yeah.
Banksy is the greatest, you know, like, whatever it sells for, fine. I got nothing to say about that. Graffiti, if you understand the genesis of graffiti, it's irrepressible, it's unstoppable in its way, in its own way. And it bubbles up from the streets. And you know, this is a little bit illegal, so you want to be quick. Anybody who has trouble out there, let me know, and we will connect you with the National Lawyers Guild, and they will represent you. Yeah. You want to talk to me now? I'm excited.
Police officers are already here. Right as Robbie was giving a speech about what to do if the police come up to you while you're postering. So let's go check it out.
Okay.
Sergeant Cara from Ulster Division.
Pleasure.
We had concerned citizens called us.
Excuse me?
Concerned citizens called us, told us about the guerrilla art today, that the plan was. We read information about it as well. As you know, there is a city ordinance against handbill. I'm going to give you my business card.
And would you like a poster?
Sure.
Okay. Let's get the officers a couple of posters. Not those.
He's going to be all right. For the record, I'm not posting anything.
I'm just letting you know.
So cops came inside the deli, gave sort of everybody a talking to about what they can't do and what is okay, which is basically asking a building for permission to put the posters up, which will never ever happen. And the cops are standing over there. They got their sort of the lights flashing. They're sort of idling on the street, watching everybody here. And now people are passing out the posters. Goldilocks passing out the posters to everybody that's here with the glue and the brushes before everybody hits the streets. So we were driving home actually, and we just pulled over on the side of the road. Here's one right here. What this is a traffic light switcher box, and Robbie makes these things so that they are the exact size of the traffic light switcher box. Put it right on there. Looks like they didn't follow the directions exactly like Robbie told them to, but I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to get arrested. All right, fine. It's all sticky with glue. Let's go home. Tomorrow morning, the citizens of Los Angeles are going to wake up and see Nelson Mandela walking and dancing. Although most famous street artists are male, that's beginning to change a bit. I'm out here in Santa Monica where we're going to check out some street art that maybe isn't quite so macho. Let's check this out. How's it going? Jacob. Nice to meet you. This stuff is so cool.
Well, I'm glad you think so.
Tell me what we got in here.
Okay, so this is our main studio where all of us congregate. So you can see basically most of our past projects here.
Yeah, what is a yarn bomb exactly?
A yarn bomb is basically attaching knit or crocheted material to a public structure like bike racks, benches, to create, I guess, a knit explosion of color.
What's an example of it? So this, if this was like a street pole, you would do this to the street pole or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
What I think is cool about what you do is the idea of, and I'm just looking at the sign, Yarn Bombing LA is a knit graffiti collective that stages public installations and performances to help expand the definition of public art. Two things. When you think about graffiti and then you think about bombing, the two words that you use, like there's such a negative connotation, but this seems like so positive and so open and so like you feel good walking in here.
We try to be accessible so that people who don't feel, very like subversive or macho can participate in our work.
We went out with Robbie Conal and we went out on his posterings and the LAPD shows up. Like, do they, because of the feeling of what you do you get a hassle from the authorities when you want to go out and do your stuff in the streets?
Don't worry, we still get hassled.
Okay. Is it true that I get a little lesson in crocheting?
You get a lesson in knitting. So you want to come in on that loop from behind, make sure it's across.
Okay.
Take this string, wrap it around.
How do you do that? You need to have 3 hands to do this.
Actually, you can usually stabilize everything with your left hand.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's secret number 1.
Okay.
And then you
I'm so bad at this already.
If you do that like 500 more times, then you'll have a scarf.
And you'll be a guerrilla artist, or on your way to being a guerrilla artist.
Knit it 500 times, and then put it around a bike rack, and then you're done.
Did you guys have trouble getting off the ground just because of, it's knitting and people didn't really see it as an existing form of street art?
On the one hand, if you're talking about professional and institutional recognition, I do think that we struggle with that. I don't think it's something we're consciously thinking about every day. We just want to have fun and put things out there. But we know that just by being there, like we're challenging, the like male dominant street art.
Do you have a Twitter?
Yeah, I do. It's Gorilla _ the other way.
Awesome.
So we're not actually in ancient Rome right now. We're at the Getty Villa in California. But if we actually were in ancient Rome, what would we be seeing on these walls right here?
Well, throughout antiquity, like every other period, people wanted to make their mark. So people wrote on the walls, and they wrote things that were banal, pornographic, scatological. Things like we see on bathroom stalls today is what we'd be seeing. And we have actually quotes from ancient graffiti, not from Rome, but from Pompeii.
Wow. My favorite one is, "Weep, you girls, my penis has given you up. Now it penetrates men's behinds. Goodbye, wondrous femininity."
Restituta, take off your tunic, please, and show us your hairy privates. I screwed the barmaid.
A lot of them are quite personal. They're just, so Rufus was here, Claudius loves Amata, and they were these little things that people wanted to make their mark and be known, and it's kind of a universal urge, I think.
Cruel Legolas, why do you not love me? It's a different kind of art entirely. This is graffiti by the Avenue Street Gang. It is one of the most violent gangs in all of Los Angeles. And come here. Not only is it right here, but it literally is directly across the street from our office at TakePart Live. So it turns out the graffiti I showed you guys the other day right across the street from our office is already gone. It was painted over by a city crew like these guys right here. But it turns out the very same gang put up graffiti on the other side of the office, right over there, and we're gonna go paint over that right now. You wanna tell me a little bit about what we're about to go do?
Well, we're gonna move some graffiti here. It's one of the local gangs. And we don't want it to sit too long because it creates problems with other gangs. Once somebody tags that gang, that gang gets upset. So the best thing to do is remove the graffiti right away.
Because when you say it creates problems, like a turf sort of battle?
Exactly. Yeah, that's something we've seen in the area, so we just want to keep those kind of things to a minimum.
And just out of curiosity, like how often do you have to do this? We noticed the graffiti across the street the other day. It was gone within a day and a half. How often are you guys out on the streets?
We're out every day.
Every single day. You never fear for your safety when you're doing stuff like this?
Well, I run the program, so I'm not really on the field much, but I am concerned for the safety of my crews. So it's always been a concern of mine.
So is there a technique? Tell me what the technique is here.
It's real complicated. You dip it in the paint and slop it on the wall.
All right, you want to trade places for a second?
Sure.
Here. You like that? Fuck TV hosting. Pretty good?
Excellent.
Up there? Here, I'll give you this one back. Okay.
I want to kind of square it off a little bit.
So it looks a little...
So it looks a little neater.
It's got to look a little aesthetically pleasing. If the graffiti looks nicer than the paint job, then you're in big trouble. And a lot of people say, like, graffiti is art. It's the way that we express ourselves on the street. Do you feel bad at all about taking down people's graffiti?
No, because usually the stuff that we take down is gang related, so you actually feel like you're doing something for the community, and you actually get a lot of thank yous.
So we're behind the graffiti removal truck now. We're driving down Cypress, which is further east from our office in LA. Still an area where there's a lot of gangs, an area where there's a lot of tagging, and they've taken us to another site where we're going to be doing some cleanup right now. I see what he's looking at, probably right there.
This was an LAPD call. While Rogelio was there, he got the call from...
So while we were over there, the Los Angeles Police Department called us and said,
can you do this for us?
This is a gang tag. We got to come over here and take this down as fast as possible?
Yes.
That's the idea. So this is pretty cool. This is a way faster way to do what we just did. It's actually a high pressure paint sprayer. Can I give it a go? Rock and roll. Don't fuck with me, guys. If you didn't do all this work,
tags, draw tags. If you can imagine what this would look like if nobody erased it. Tag is like a magnet for other tags.
And what about what attracts violence?
Tagging. Tagging does. One will see a rival, either a crew or a gang, and they'll cross it out. Next thing you know, you have death threats going on the wall. Next thing you know, you have problems between the two individuals.
Got it. Hey, you got a second? You guys, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? Do you see the, have you ever seen the guys that put up the tagging out here?
Yeah.
They come by a lot, right? All the time. I mean, good guys, nice guys, not so nice guys?
Kids.
Young guys?
Just kids.
Gang?
Both.
Both gang and just kids messing around.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about like how often does it happen? Every day?
Yeah.
Have you ever been out to do it?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
And tell me what it's like.
Waste of time.
It's a waste of time?
Yeah.
So like, do you get in trouble for doing it or what?
Yeah, you do.
And what, they'll take you in?
Oh yeah, it's not worth it.
Cops will pick you up.
Yeah.
And what do they say?
Pretty much what I'm saying. Costing people money.
Costing people money.
Guys like these.
And you end up having to go to jail, right? Yeah. Thanks a lot. There you go. You see, I mean, he lives in the neighborhood. He's one of the kids that's put up some of these tags before. And, you know, he realizes that there are consequences to it. And some of them are, it's what pays your bills, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And 2 minutes later, the guy we had just interviewed got spooked and peeled out in his car. We've seen guys coming by, circling around 2 or 3 times the block, looking at us, wondering, probably checking us out.
It generally isn't a very good sign. You want to be on your toes when that happens.
And so, time to get out of here around that time.
You move quick, move on to the next one.
Whether it's just to mark your territory, to have some kind of artistic expression, social commentary, or just to use profanity, art in unauthorized public places is universal. Some people put it up, some people take it down.